After Sophie fell from the building, my stepbrother Alex hated me for 10 years. Even though later I used despicable means to completely possess him. He never truly forgave me. Until I ran away abroad in anger and encountered a riot. Alex still protected me without hesitation and died from a bullet. The last words he said in my arms were, "It was I who spoiled you too much. I regret it so much. Becoming your brother." Everyone said I was crazy. I had ruined Alex, who had been upright and self-disciplined all his life. So I knelt on the long steps for 50 years, praying for a chance to start over. This time, I would fulfill Alex's wishes. Only wishing for his peace and smooth life.
Welcome to listen to my full sweet love series novel. I'm the blogger and I'm Twilight's novel. Now let's start the main story.
Mia, look at what you've written here yourself. Isn't it disgusting? You actually harbor such feelings for your own brother. A nostalgic voice sounded in my ear. Opening my eyes, I saw Alex holding my diary, his face flushed red with anger. That diary was filled with my desires for Alex. But at that moment, I felt no shame at being exposed. Instead, I cried out in relief. I had really been reborn. Reborn when I first quarreled with Alex, and he discovered my improper thoughts about him. The vivid image of Alex almost made me unable to control my trembling. It was wonderful. He was still alive. Alex noticed something was wrong with me. His anger immediately died down by half. He pointed to the ground. "Take all these and burn them." In my previous life, after hearing this, I became hysterical and pressed against his collar, kissing him directly. Alex looked shocked, fled in panic, and gradually distanced himself from me. All my obsessions broke through the shackles because of that outrageous kiss. I hated Sophie even more for taking Alex away, leading to all the later tragedies. So this time, I fiercely wiped the tears from my face. Picked up the box full of diaries. Okay. I'll burn them. The diaries contained records of my and Alex's time together over more than a decade. My mother and Alex's mother were best friends. But my mother was a love fool, marrying an abusive man. When I was 5, my mother died after failed rescue efforts. My father was a chronic alcoholic who fell into a ditch on his way to surrender and died. Aunt Mary adopted me. But she passed away when Alex and I were just starting middle school. From then on, only Alex, me, and a few servants remained in the large villa. Actually, Alex was only a few months older than me. But I was a troublemaker, and Alex was a little adult. So since childhood, he had been cleaning up my messes behind me. Aunt Mary was very busy with work. Servants and nannies often took leave. When I had gastroenteritis, Alex stayed with me all night for an 4 drip. When I got into fights, he backed me up. I was afraid of thunder, so he hugged his pillow and blanket and squeezed into my bed. Even when Sophie fell to her death because of me, Alex hated me to the core. But when a riot broke out, he still shielded me without a moment's hesitation. Alex was perfect in every way. Except that his love for me was familial. My love for him was a guilty conscience. In my previous life, when Aunt Mary heard the news of Alex's death, she cried uncontrollably. Uncle Robert pointed at my nose and scolded. "Mia, you're a crazy lunatic, cursed with a lonely fate. Must you kill everyone around you to be satisfied?" I remembered what Alex said to me last. "It was I who spoiled you too much. I regret it so much. Becoming your brother." He regretted it. Actually, I regretted it too. The temple in the north of the city was said to be very efficacious. I wanted to pray that in the next life, Alex would never meet me again. But probably because I had too many sins. The abbot refused to see me. So I knelt year after year. The mottled bloodstains on the steps were all from my kowtows. From black hair to white hair. Finally, when I was old and frail, the abbot agreed to see me. He said, "What has happened cannot be changed, but perhaps a new life can still come. You are his destined calamity. If not resolved, it would be wasted effort." Then he stuffed an amulet into my wrinkled hand. "It will guide you to the time of rebirth." When I woke up, the amulet in my hand told me this was not a dream. In this life, I would not repeat the same mistakes. At any cost, I only wished for Alex's peace and smooth life. The next day at school, neither of us mentioned the previous night's events. A suffocating silence filled the car. When we got out of the car, Alex broke the silence. You hurt Sophie a few days ago. Go apologize to her today. His tone was stiff, as if he expected me to quarrel with him again before speaking. But I just nodded faintly. Okay. Alex looked at me in surprise. But in the end, he said nothing. During lunch break, I went to find Sophie to apologize as agreed. After searching around, I found her with Alex. The noisy afternoon was warm and sunny. The girl giggled and lightly punched the boy opposite her in the chest. The next moment, her peripheral vision caught sight of me, and she immediately hid behind Alex in fear, covering her bandaged hand. Alex instinctively protected her. Why are you here? A sentence tinged with detachment. He had already forgotten telling me to come apologize this morning. Actually, it wasn't Alex's fault for being nervous. I really was crazy. I had a strong possessiveness toward Alex. He was handsome and gentle. Many girls liked him. Every one of them was driven away by me. I interpreted Alex's silent consent, so I increasingly felt there was a place for me in Alex's heart. Like in my previous life when I put something in his water, forcing him to cross the line. He resisted my touch, but I could still read pleasure in his fragmented moans. But I ignored that it was just an uncontrollable physiological reaction. Sophie was special to him. Even 10 years after her death, Alex still hadn't forgiven me. I suppressed the overflowing bitterness in my heart and took a deep breath. Bowed deeply to Sophie. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have hurt you a few days ago, nor should I have publicly insulted you and embarrassed you. Can you forgive me? Sophie cautiously looked at Alex, and seeing he didn't speak, she responded. It's okay, don't take it to heart, I forgive you. I looked up and met Alex's eyes. Emotions I couldn't understand surged within them. In my previous life, another reason I disliked Sophie was I had seen her close to Zach more than once. Zach was Alex's rival. He had a bad personality and loved to trip Alex up. I strongly suspected Sophie was sent to deceive Alex's feelings, so I targeted her everywhere. This time, no matter the truth, I had to figure it out. To get the two who missed each other in the previous life back on track. So I started bothering Sophie, saying I felt guilty and wanted to be friends with her. At first, she was still wary. When she saw I truly meant no harm, she let her guard down. I subtly asked her, "What do you think of my brother?" Sophie's ears flushed red. Alex has helped me a lot, and he loves small animals. He used to often feed the cats nearby and even neutered them. I think he's very kind. Indeed. They were in love with each other. Sophie was actually quite outstanding. She came from a poor family but was very ambitious, studying on scholarships. A standard poor but stubborn white flower. Alex was handsome, ranked first in his grade, and had a large inheritance left by Aunt Mary. Anyone would say they were a perfect match. Even though I knew this, my heart still ached with jealousy. That night, Alex knocked on my door after a long time. He didn't dare to come in. Last time, he suddenly barged into my room and discovered my shameful thoughts. I took the initiative to say, I'm just looking at schools to apply to, nothing else. Since being reborn, I felt Alex was still distancing himself from me. Even without that kiss, he couldn't accept his own sister liking him. And I, even without that kiss, couldn't let go of Alex. He coughed unnaturally. Why haven't you been going home with me lately? I was a bit surprised. I hadn't expected him to ask about this. Because I need to quickly get used to life without you. I silently said in my heart. Even today, I was looking for a school far from Alex. Anyway, he and Sophie both had good grades and would definitely go to the same school. As for me, the farther away from him, the better. I casually made up an excuse. Sophie and I get along quite well, so we agreed to go home together and chat. After saying it, even I didn't quite believe it. Alex stared straight at me, making my scalp tingle. I stiffened my neck and asked, "Is it disturbing you too?" He frowned and tapped my forehead. "What are you thinking?" "It's nothing like that." Then he scratched his head somewhat irritably. "Forget it, you. Making more friends is good too." That day, as usual, I went home with Sophie. She opened up to me a lot, and I wanted to find out the real reason for her fall in the previous life. Everyone thought I had pushed her off the building. Even Alex believed that. After all, I had too many previous offenses. But I hadn't. I hadn't even touched a corner of her clothes. She just jumped down crying. I thought maybe something had happened in Sophie's family that made her want to commit suicide. Sophie, if you have anything, you must tell me. Whatever difficulty you have, tell me, and I'll help you solve it. Sophie was stunned at first, then her eyes reddened. She did have something going on. Just as she was about to speak, suddenly, a group of thugs jumped out from the alley. They were hostile, holding iron rods torn from desks. I had learned some self-defense as a child and barely fought with them. Sophie's situation wasn't as good. Seeing the rod about to hit her, I didn't hesitate to shield her. Then everything went black. When I woke up again, I felt a burning pain from the back of my head down to my back. I was covered in mud, but the scene before me didn't give me time to be surprised. Sophie lay naked beside me. "Hey Sophie, what's wrong?" My voice trembled. Without thinking, I reached for the phone nearby. I just wanted to contact Alex quickly. But the phone was shattered and unresponsive. Then, a strong light suddenly shone on my face. I instinctively lowered my head and squinted. The sound of police sirens mingled with Alex's furious voice. I felt a force push me away, and I hit the steps nearby. "Mia, I really thought you had changed, but it turns out you were waiting for today to do something bad." Alex's eyes were bloodshot. I looked at him blankly, only realizing later. He had misunderstood. "Brother, no, it wasn't me." Alex picked up Sophie. "You're holding the phone and saying it's not you. Delete all the photos now. I'll deal with you when I get home." I stared blankly at his retreating back, tears welling up in my eyes. "Really? It wasn't me." Finally, all my strength seemed drained, and the world went dark again. I dreamed of Alex being this angry with me in my previous life. When Sophie fell from the building and I was taken for investigation, Alex hit me for the first time. A loud slap. "How could you do such a thing? I'm very disappointed in you. I wish I never had a sister like you." His eyes were filled with sorrow so deep it was almost calm. It wasn't his fault. After all, only Sophie and I were on the rooftop that day. No one would believe a female student about to graduate with a bright future would jump off a building for no reason. But even though Alex didn't believe me, he still found me the best lawyer. There were no surveillance cameras on the rooftop, and no direct evidence proved I pushed Sophie. Moreover, no traces of my fingerprints were found on her. But there was a possibility that I had incited Sophie to jump. In the end, the incident was ruled an accident. Alex paid a large sum of money to Sophie's mother. But she still came to the school to protest every day. So Alex took the initiative to withdraw from school with me. I had truly ruined his life. If not for me, what a brilliant life he would have had. No matter how others speculated about the incident. To Alex, his sister had killed the person he loved. From that day on it could never go back. I woke up from the dream with a start. The familiar bedroom came into view. Alex was by the bed watching over me, looking haggard with dark circles under his eyes. Seeing me awake, a glimmer of light appeared in his eyes. Then he hugged me tightly. It turned out Sophie woke up before I did. She explained everything. I had been knocked out trying to save her. Those thugs had taken photos of her and fled. Alex held me, his body trembling uncontrollably. He kept apologizing over and over. "I'm sorry, Mia, I'm sorry. It's my fault for misunderstanding you. I didn't take good care of you and blamed you without knowing the truth. You should hit me." His trembling was obvious and clear. His body warmth passed to me, making my eyes well up with heat. Days of grievances burst forth. I cried, tears and snot all over Alex's clothes. "Brother, it's all my fault. If I hadn't been so reckless before, you wouldn't have believed me." I shook my head desperately, hoping Alex would believe my promise. "I was really wrong. I won't cling to you and make things difficult anymore. I won't covet you anymore. I just want to be your sister, forever your sister." I felt Alex's body stiffen for a moment. Then he gently patted my back. We held each other like that for a long time, as if all the previous estrangement had vanished. Alex brought over the porridge beside me. "Eat something first." He tied my hair for me and took his coat. "I'm going out to buy your favorite egg tarts to apologize. Wait for me to come back. I have something important to tell you. I obediently watched Alex, feeling like he seemed different, as if he had made some kind of decision. But I waited a long time without Alex returning. Instead, I first received a message from Sophie. Mia, please, come to the school rooftop to find me. Only you alone. Please. I rushed out of the house like mad. Why was this happening again? The abbot's words echoed in my mind. What has happened cannot be changed. Actually, I couldn't change anything? Then what was the point of my rebirth? But the message Sophie sent me this time was different from the previous life. In the previous life, she sent me a provocative message, lying to me that she and Alex were meeting secretly on the school rooftop. But this time was different. I felt the truth was within reach. On the rooftop, Sophie was crying, just like in the previous life. Sophie, what's wrong with you? Did she really have to jump off this building? Sophie looked at me and knelt down with a thud. Mia, I can't escape. Those who attacked us were Zach's people. They took photos and videos of me. I've been trapped for a long time. My blood boiled instantly. If you knew, why didn't you tell the police? You're the victim. It's not your fault. Sophie screamed, seeming to be on the verge of a breakdown. It's no use, Mia. I've resisted. It's no use. They threatened my mother and my younger siblings. Zach's family background is complicated. We can't fight against him. He's a demon. He's been toying with us. He wants to destroy Alex, so he's targeting you. I'm sorry to you. You and your brother have been so good to me. Don't come near me. As long as you don't touch me, no evidence will be found on me. Alex loves you so much. He will do everything to protect you. But if I don't listen to Zach, my family won't survive. If I die, maybe this will blow up. I just beg you after my death to take care of my family, just for the sake of our short month of friendship. I didn't let her finish. I grabbed her collar and pulled her down. Only my roar echoed. Then do you know what will happen to my brother after you die? He missed you his whole life. I realized I was already crying uncontrollably. Sophie looked at me blankly. The amulet in my pocket fell to the ground with a thud. It lay quietly. I vaguely remembered the warmth in my palm when I first held it. Since I was Alex's destined calamity. Then without me, he would be happy. That was what it meant. I finally understood. So, as long as we blow things up, it's fine, right? I turned and ran toward the edge of the platform. At first, it felt light and airy. Then came the heavy sense of falling. I chose the abyss. So I fell into the abyss. A loud bang, followed by a piercing scream, shattering the night that should have been peaceful. At the same time, Alex, who was just a street away from the school, was startled by the sudden loud noise and almost dropped what he was holding. It was the last egg tart. The shop he originally went to was closed. He traveled to several places before finding this new shop near the school. The crowd around him gradually grew noisy. Someone died. A girl student jumped off the building. Alex turned and looked toward the school, suddenly remembering the sharp pain in his heart when the noise happened. Alex walked toward the school as if possessed. He had never been one to join in the excitement. But that day, a voice in his heart said, "You should go see." He saw Sophie. She was crying on the ground, shouting Mia's name. Why would she shout Mia's name? Alex felt even more panicked. He couldn't control his hands, pushing through the crowd. The person lying on the ground. He couldn't possibly not recognize her. No matter what she looked like, he would recognize her at a glance. But his sister should be lying in her room, waiting for him to bring egg tarts home. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be lying shattered on the ground like this. Sophie confessed everything. She cried that she had caused Mia's death. Before, when I was injured, I framed her on purpose. That day she came to me angrily. I deliberately put the cup near her. When she accidentally broke the cup, I pretended she pushed me and cut my arm. She actually believed it. She even apologized to me. She was the only one who treated me as a friend. Alex looked at her numbly, taking a long time to find his voice. What were her last words? She said if I died, you would miss me your whole life. Alex felt like someone was choking him, making it hard to breathe. He finally realized. The person who killed his sister was himself. Alex clearly remembered the day he told Mia to burn the diaries. She stood in the yard, burning them while wiping away tears. His heart ached. He told Aunt Mary to call Mia back. But he uncontrollably walked toward the ashes. There was one diary not fully burned. He stomped out the fire. The elegant handwriting inside was also taught stroke by him. Would brother think I'm disgusting if he knew I love him? At that moment, he felt nothing else mattered. He shouldn't blame her. He had no right to blame Mia. In this world, no matter what mistakes Mia made, he deserved worse. He was just too afraid to take that step. If one day, Mia no longer liked him, she saw a better, broader world. When men outside made her realize her brother was nothing special, they couldn't even be siblings anymore. The step he took would doom him. That night, he even twistedly thought it would be better if he and Mia were blood-related. At least then, there would be an indelible mark between them. He was too afraid. So when he realized Mia disliked Sophie, for the first time, he didn't distance himself from someone his sister disliked. He thought, just let Mia give up. She had to grow up someday. She had to leave him someday. But when Mia was unconscious for days and woke up crying to apologize, calling herself a bastard, he just wanted to say he was the bastard, 1,000 times worse than her. Not only that, he was a coward, making Mia bear the shared sin alone. Alex figured it out. He would tell Mia. At worst, we'll go to a place where no one knows us. But his moment of hesitation cost him his sister forever. When Alex came to his senses, he had already handled Mia's funeral arrangements. That small urn held his most beloved person. She was so lively and active. How could she bear being confined in such a small space? His senses seemed to return belatedly. Countless blades seemed to grow from his internal organs. He retched violently. The blades cut his esophagus and throat. But nothing came out in the end. He could only stay in Mia's room all day. It was the only place in the world that still held her scent. Time seemed to have stopped. His life had ended the day his sister died. On the other side of the wall, Aunt Mary and Uncle Robert were extremely anxious. We've tried so many psychologists. It's useless. It seems like his soul is lost. I heard the temple in the north is very efficacious. I didn't expect to wake up again. In a dimly lit rented room, there was an admission notice. The name on it was Mia. I had been reborn into a body with the same name. This Mia didn't look much like me. She was orphaned and grew up in an orphanage. Her social relationships were almost non-existent. Like a bug in the world's operation. It was 18,000 miles away from the city where I used to live. Suddenly, everything I had wished for seemed fulfilled. I couldn't calm down for a long time. The amulet still lay quietly in my palm. But the hidden warmth inside seemed gone. Now it was just an ordinary piece of cloth. I decided to live as Mia. Spring and autumn passed. Seasons changed. 3 years flew by. During that time, I searched for news about Alex. My fall had caused a huge uproar back then. Even many media outlets got involved. Zach and his forces all collapsed. Sophie seemed fine too. Actually, this was best. Everything was back on track. I thought I should let go. At first, life without Alex was really hard. Later, my busy life left no time for overthinking. By the time I realized, I had gotten used to it. I lost my intelligence around Alex. Without him, my smart brain took over again. So I decided to get a boyfriend. Maybe falling in love would help me finally move on from Alex. Not just physically. I had to get over him mentally too. I couldn't cling to my brother forever. Especially since to him I was dead now. Luke was my classmate. He had good looks and was quite interesting. But I really tried. Yet found it impossible. Still impossible. I couldn't accept anyone except Alex. I even doubted if I was heterosexual. Maybe I was Alex-sexual. That night, I went out drinking with Luke to clear things up. But he got drunk and spilled everything. I'll be honest, I love my brother. Who could understand the relief I felt when he said that? Luke drank, vomited, and cried. I thought you were pretty and had personality. Wanted to try with you to see if I could straighten myself out. After trying, I know I can't. Just can't. I only love my brother. I'll only love him in this lifetime. He was saying all my lines. Because of this unique bond, Luke and I became good friends. Later, he struggled over whether to confess to his brother. My advice was, don't. One wrong move, and you might become a wild man without a brother. Like me. Luke was afraid too, so in 3 years of college, he never dared to say it. Still diligently trying to cure himself. I thought it was hopeless. That day, he came over again. Hey, did you know 2 exchange students joined our department? There's a welcome party tonight. They're said to be really good looking. Come on. Entering the bar booth, I inexplicably felt a sense of foreboding. The class monitor next door said mysteriously, "These exchange students are impressive. They started a business right after college. Heard they're crazy, now worth over 100 million. Came to our school for some project." That's great. Let's curry favor. Luke was disdainful, muttering beside me. What's so great? My brother managed our family company in college. I had no time for him. My heart was pounding. After sitting down, a tall figure walked in. The streamers the monitor prepared burst open with a bang. I looked up. My blood froze. Right opposite, the man's features became clear under the light. He wore a thick black coat, like a piece of the night, isolating all external emotions. A striking earring on his left earlobe. On closer look, it was star-shaped. Alex. How could it be Alex? I felt dizzy. The monitor pulled the streamer and introduced enthusiastically. Welcome, Alex and Sophie. Only then did I notice Sophie behind Alex, looking listless. The crowd buzzed with speculation. Definitely a gorgeous couple, someone murmured. Think they're dating? Luke nudged me beside me. Still think my brother's better looking, he muttered under his breath. I immediately shot him a glare. Bullshit. Obviously, my brother was handsomer. Luke looked startled by my sudden sharpness. Who lit your fuse? He asked, bewildered. I clapped a hand over his mouth, desperately trying to shrink into the background. Though this new body initially looked different from mine, over 3 years, the resemblance had grown uncanny. Thankfully, I'd worn a mask today. Alex had only glanced my way once upon entering, his gaze never drifting back. Clearly, he hadn't recognized me. Someone suggested playing truth or dare. Alex, naturally striking and the guest of honor, became the center of attention. Curiosity mirrored Luke's burning question. Finally, someone seized their chance to ask Alex, "Do you have a girlfriend?" Yes. Alex's calm answer extinguished many hopeful sparks in the room, but a few remained undeterred. The next round pressed further. Is your girlfriend in this room? Every eye locked onto Alex. My heart involuntarily leaped into my throat. Alex lifted his gaze. Maybe it was my imagination, but his eyes seemed to flicker briefly toward me. Yes. That sealed it for everyone. Alex had just arrived, and his girlfriend was present. It had to be Sophie. Okay, I admit, knowing the answer still stung a little. Looking back now, dying back then might have been cleaner. Staying by Alex's side, watching him marry and have children someday? That would have driven me mad too. Enthusiasm waned in the latter half of the party. A guy seated next to Alex noticed his earring. Your earring is unique, he remarked. Is that liquid inside? A hint of emotion finally surfaced on Alex's face. He touched the star-shaped earring on his earlobe, a gentle smile curving his lips. Yes. It's my sister's ashes. Sudden silence crashed over the room. The class monitor's tipsiness vanished instantly as he scrambled to change the subject. But one overly drunk guest, oblivious to the tension, blurted out. Why a star? Does it mean something special? This time, the weight of Alex's stare was unmistakable. His gaze settled firmly on me. Because her name was Mia Xing. Cold sweat drenched my back. All eyes swiveled towards me. What a coincidence. We have a Mia Xing in our class too. That's wild. Such an uncommon name. Xing, why are you still wearing a mask? My heart hammered against my ribs. Alex stared directly at me, dissecting every micro-expression. I forced a cough, lowering my voice deliberately. Oh. Haha, weird coincidence. I grew up in an orphanage. Always wanted an older brother. Pollen allergies today. Did Alex's sister get them too? Luke frowned at me. Since when do you have pollen allergies? I wanted to rip his tongue out. No. Alex's stare remained fixed, the dim lighting obscuring his true expression. But she was an exceptional liar. Panic surged through me. Thankfully the topic died there. Later, the encounter left me shaken. Alex must have noticed me because of the name. For days, I meticulously avoided him and Sophie, doubling down on my pollen allergy persona. The mask felt permanently welded to my face. Exchange students lived different schedules anyway. Alex was building a new life. Surely, he'd soon forget the girl who shared his late sister's name. That's what I'd hoped. Reality, however, had other plans. Alex became inescapable. Logically, I was the ghost haunting this scenario. At the cafeteria, he sat at the table opposite mine. Buying coffee, he casually ordered 2 cups beside me. Annoying. Obviously, the extra cup was for Sophie. Finally, a day free of sightings. I met Luke at the cafe across from campus for a treat. Our food had just arrived when Alex pushed the door open. Luke was demolishing his meal opposite me. He glanced up, noticing my rigid posture. Why aren't you eating? You have it. He flashed a cheeky grin. Don't mind if I do. He promptly claimed my untouched omelette rice and strawberry parfait. A tall figure materialized beside our table. A fresh parfait and a plate of warm flaky egg tarts landed before me. Eat. I looked up at Alex, a lump forming in my throat. Swallowing hard, I grabbed Luke's arm. Thanks, but if I wanted it, my boyfriend would buy it for me. The air froze. Luke lifted his head, mouth full, momentarily stunned. But true friendship prevailed. Instantly comprehending, he threw a possessive arm around my shoulders. Summoning his deepest, most aggressively straight voice, he addressed Alex. Back off, pal. My girl's watching her figure. Not happening. Me. Alex. All right, he tried his best. Without another word, Alex turned and walked out. I stared blankly at the untouched treats as he vanished down the street. Luke's expression turned serious. Was he harassing you? I shook my head, lost for words. Don't ask. Just pretend to be my boyfriend for a while? Luke took his role seriously, escorting me to and from classes daily. His opinion of Alex plummeted. Strangely, after that day, Alex vanished from my orbit. I assumed he'd accepted it. I wasn't his sister. His sister wouldn't have deliberately caused him pain. One evening, Luke scurried over, eyes gleaming. Massive scandal. Remember that other exchange student who came with Alex? I nodded. Sophie. Her. Campus gossip forums are blowing up. Cheating scandal. Two-timing. Been here barely a week and hooked up with multiple guys? Serves Alex right. Harasses you while his own girlfriend. I shot out of my chair, startling Luke. What did you say? I said Sophie cheated on Alex. The rest of his words faded. I was already sprinting down the hallway. She had afternoon class. Gloomy clouds promised a downpour. By the time I reached the classroom, it was empty. Only Sophie remained. She froze upon seeing me. I yanked off my mask, revealing a face now eerily similar to my original one. Sophie's pupils dilated, her body trembling. What are you scared of? I advanced. She retreated step by step, forehead slick with sweat. I backed her against the wall, fisting her collar. Was he cruel to you? Didn't you get what you wanted? Terror filled Sophie's eyes as she shook her head violently. Afraid now? Think I won't haunt you from the grave? Why do this to him? Answer me. A flash of lightning revealed Sophie's tear-filled eyes weren't fixed on me. They looked past me, wide with fear. Her trembling hand rose, pointing behind me. Thunder cracked. I whirled around. The momentary brilliance illuminated a face I knew too well. Alex's face. Will this suffice? Sophie choked out. She tore free from my slackened grip, scrambling out the door. I understood instantly. I'd been tricked. My heart skipped a beat, then hammered wildly against my ribs. Bro. The word slipped out before I could bite it back. Too late for denials now. He'd known all along. Alex strode towards me. Pathetic. 2 lifetimes, 2 bodies, No blood relation. Yet his presence pinned me like a specimen. Fleeing felt impossible. He must be furious. Furious I was alive, hiding right under his nose. You bite your finger when angry, he stated, unervingly calm. Saw me buy 2 coffees. Assumed one was for Sophie? Bit your mask. Almost funny. Lie. You twist your hair. 3 times, when claiming Luke was your boyfriend. Thunder? You scrunch your nose. Like just now. Did you truly believe, Mia, I wouldn't recognize you? Okay, I was an idiot. Before I could stammer an apology, Alex laughed. A chilling sound. It froze my blood. Do you hate me? Despise me? Why pretend not to know me? How can I beg your forgiveness? His questions bombarded me, dizzying. Yet his voice remained detached, almost conversational. His eyes, however, burned with terrifying intensity. I retreated until cold glass pressed against my back. Trapped. Alex offered a smile that might have been gentle. Shall I kneel? Prefer to hit me? Strike hard. Or something you'd enjoy more? How about that new collar you bought? Panic surged. Collar? I hadn't bought one. Only. Memory detonated. The collar. From the previous life. Bought. But unused. Before he died. Before our final fight. Horror dawned. You. Alex's hand shot out, not to throttle but to grip my chin. His mouth crashed down on mine. The kiss was fierce, desperate, yet terrifyingly restrained. Rain drummed against the windows. A shattering realization cut through the chaos. I wasn't the only one tainted. Alex stood just as deep in the muck. He knew. Morning light filtered through the blinds. Something heavy weighed me down. I opened my eyes to Alex's face inches from mine. Phone check. 9 a.m. I bolted upright. The jolt woke him instantly. He blinked, sleepily looping an arm around my waist, pulling me back down. Sleep more. Noticing the faint bite mark on his bicep, I flushed. I have class. As his grip loosened, I darted for the bathroom. His weary sigh followed me. Never this studious before. In the mirror, faint bruises marred my skin. High-necked clothes were mandatory today. Thankfully, early spring allowed layers. Otherwise, I'd look insane. He hadn't been gentle either. His back likely mirrored mine. By the time I emerged, Alex was showered, dressed, ready. Warmth still lingered on my cheeks. You're coming. I mumbled awkwardly. Don't you have class? He shot me a look while tying his shoes. Flattered you memorized my schedule. I rubbed my nose, guilty. Memorizing it had been part of my evasion strategy. A chilly spring breeze greeted us outside. For a disorienting moment, time felt suspended. Alex was whole. I was whole. We were walking to school together. Like the years hadn't passed. I pressed close. Alex simply wrapped me inside his coat. Feels like forever since we walked to school. He managed a faint smile, his voice thick. Sigh. My brother radiated melancholy. Though I was likely the cause. Last night, half asleep, I'd heard his whispered fear. Will you vanish if I sleep? I'd snuggled closer, ready to reassure him. A furious shout shattered the moment. A powerful hand wrenched me away. Alex and I both froze. Luke stood there, glowering. He shoved me behind him, shielding me from Alex like an angry hen. Alex! Stay away from my girlfriend, he roared. Or else. Crap. I'd forgotten about him. Alex stared, momentarily stunned. Recognition dawned, followed by a complex mix of emotions. Annoyance. Outrage. Hurt. Trying to kill me? He asked flatly. I shook my head frantically, pushing past Luke to reach Alex. This is my brother, I blurted. Luke's eyes darted between us, widening. But your sister is. His expression morphed into pure shock. It's complicated? I offered weakly. I'll explain later. Alex seized my hand, pulling me possessively close. Allow me, he declared, voice sharp. I was her brother. I am her boyfriend. I will be her husband. Luke stood petrified. Confusion warred with disbelief, then morphed into intense envy. He let out a strangled yelp and fled. Alex massaged his temples. "This is the company you kept?" I tried weakly defending Luke. "He's usually more normal?" A cold scoff. "Humph. Defending another man already?" The jealousy was palpable. I understood. I'd been there. I mimed zipping my lips shut. Days blurred into comfortable entanglement with Alex. He'd rented a small apartment near campus. He'd summon me for meals, don an apron, and cook all my favorites. His earlier declaration held truth. No other man measured up to my brother. Sophie had returned home. My fall had scarred her deeply, though Alex had signed a waiver, absolving her legally. She'd missed a year but eventually got into a good university. She'd messaged an apology, admitting her past deceit. My death had clearly traumatized her. She couldn't face me. Fair. She'd traumatized me plenty in a past life. I'd explained everything to Luke. He found it bizarre but accepted it. Mostly, he radiated envy. "Oh, wonderful. Congratulations, I guess." During break, we returned home. Visiting my own grave felt surreal. My headstone stood beside Aunt Mary's and my mother's. Wind whistled past my ears. "How did you find me?" I asked Alex. He described severe hallucinations after my death. Seeing me in my room, reaching out, only to grasp empty clothes. "Aunt Mary and Uncle Robert took me to the Northern Temple," he said quietly. "That's where I saw it all. Our past life." Tears welled as I listened. I buried my face in his chest. "I'm sorry, Alex. I was terrified. Terrified if I stayed near you, I'd ruin your life again. Get you expelled. Get you killed. Better if I vanished." Alex gently covered my mouth. "Without you, living felt like death. Didn't you feel the same?" His hand smoothed my hair. "Comforting. The abbot hinted you lived. So I searched. A small mercy. His virtue spared him decades of penance. At the temple, I met a man named Lucas Chuan. He sought dream guidance. His stepbrother haunted his sleep. Intimately. While talking, he showed me a photo. A group shot. His voice softened. And there you were. Standing right beside him. My jaw dropped. Alex and Lucas needed a support group. They'd have endless therapy material. But if Alex knew the entire past life... "You didn't see me as an old woman, did you?" I yelped, jumping up to cover his eyes. "No. Forget it." Alex caught my flailing hands, a genuine smile finally breaking through. "Never. You haven't seen me as an old man yet." Tears spilled over. He kissed them away, his eyes crinkling, voice impossibly tender. "So this time," he whispered, holding me close, "you will grow old. See my hair turn silver. Hold my wrinkled hand. You will watch me become that old man. I promise."